Um, well, let's talk about this movie. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Movie Emporium's movie review of Funny Pages, the newest film from director Owen Kline. So this movie, Funny Pages, is a story about Robert, and Robert's an individual that likes underground comics. He likes to really, not well known, at least into like the normal kind of comics like Marvel and DC. He's more into like the Fritz the Cat type comics, the very kind of, underground level, very weird and odd, but kind of cool in a lot of respects. But because of just kind of the nature of what he likes, he is a very outcast kind of individual. He has a teacher that he really respected who was killed. He has a friend who's very much trying to be an artist himself. And he is also a kid who lives in a household where the family members don't really kind of pay attention to him, or when they do, they're kind of weirdly non-plus, I guess you could say. They're very strict, but they're not strict, and they're also very kind of not very good people, to be fairly honest. And on top of that, he's not a very good person. And in the process, he moves to Trenton, New Jersey. He meets a couple individuals he stays with, and he becomes, I wouldn't say friends, but he becomes kind of acquaintances with this individual of this place he's working at named Wallace. And Wallace ends up being an individual that is inspiring to him, even though Wallace is a very uncouth, very weird individual himself, has a lot of issues. And it becomes a very Noah Baumbach style film where it deals with very, I would call, unlikable people that have very interesting feel and concepts in a lot of respects. So, of course, this is a new A24 film. This is a film that I'm sure a lot of people will watch that like A24 films, but it's a film that I feel is going to be very cult-like American Splendor when it comes to like the underground comic scene and all that good stuff. It's a film that really delves into the Noah Baumbach scene, where he is just an individual that really has a very interesting flow to his narratives. And like I said, Owen Kline was of course in a Noah Baumbach film, which was of course Squid and the Whale. But it's a very just kind of weird Odyssey type of film that I didn't know if I was going to enjoy, because after watching the trailer, I felt like this was going to get into like the Ghost World territory, where maybe I would enjoy it, but maybe it'd be just a little too weird for my own taste. So for my honest review of this movie, that's kind of where I lean. I don't know if I really enjoyed this movie very much. It has some very interesting performances. It goes to very interesting places, but I never feel like the very unstructured script that is being presented by Kline himself really flows very well. I don't feel like it has a lot of movement, a lot of where it wants to end up. It just feels like it kind of just does what it needs to do and goes where it needs to go, which is going to be for a lot of people. And this movie is going to be very cultish in its status when it comes to people that love these types of films. It's just not a film that I really ever kind of flowed with. I never kind of gelled with. I never really felt that the characters were really that interesting. I think the idea of what the underground comic scene and kind of where that has progressed throughout the years is interesting. This character Robert is so unlikable that it was almost off-putting in a lot of respects. And on top of that, there's just an aura about this movie that really feels like a very comic booky story itself. And you see Robert's character like draw some of the kind of incidences and scenes throughout the series. But there's, like I said, there's this character named Wallace who is very off mentally in his kind of condition and how he acts, which the actor who is in this movie does a really nice job, and I think everybody does a nice job. But he is just so off base and so weird and kind of strange in his kind of movements and his progression and stuff like that, that when it gets to the final conclusion, I never really felt on board with him as well. And it's not a movie that is kind of, where I kind of land when it comes to like movies I enjoy watching. I think A24 has put out some much better films this year, but I still think it's a film that has a lot of interesting things that it's presenting. It's just maybe just not a movie for me, to be fairly honest. And that's how I kind of feel with Noah Baumbach's films in general. They're just kind of, they have a very strange, very like dreamlike odyssey to them. And I did love Marriage Story, which I thought was a great film, but a lot of his films that he deals with, I just never get on board, and it's just not my type of my cup of tea. So it doesn't mean this movie's bad, because it definitely has some really interesting, cool looks into some really interesting things. In the end, it just wasn't a movie that I was on board with at all. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't really love it. And like I said, it's going to be a film that, a lot of cinephiles are going to like. A lot of people that love this type of humor and this very dry style and this very kind of weird Odyssey look at films are going to enjoy. So definitely, if you like these types of films like Ghost World or anything Noah Baumbach has done, definitely check it out, because you may enjoy it. It just wasn't for me. So it doesn't make it bad. It just wasn't my cup of tea. So with that said, that is going to be my look at Funny Pages. I believe it's now in the theaters. It will be on VOD, one of the two. But definitely check it out. So with that said, that'll do it. That'll be my take on Funny Pages. And in the comments below, let me know what you think of like the Noah Baumbach films or anything of that nature where it's a very offbeat style of filmmaking with characters that I don't feel very lovable and stuff like that. You know, tell me what you think of those films. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Yeah, if you like this video, awesome. Hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell. Top the fun is coming next. If you like these videos, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.